Welcome to Foster Carolinas, connecting the Carolinas to voices of foster care.
LOT, the place I wanna be. Come and sit down, have a foster chat with me. Podcast bridging the gap with Mr. Beast.
Welcome to another episode of the Least of These podcast. I'm Tiffany Jothen.
I'm Susie Taylor.
Thank you for being here, Susie.
You're welcome.
We're so glad to have you. For those who aren't familiar with your story, you are the adoptive mom of Jess Vestal. Am I saying her last name right?
Yes,
Vestal. And she was featured on season 6 of Love is Blind.
she was.
So Jess has publicly shared her story about growing up in foster care, spending years in foster care, and then ultimately ending up in your home.
Yes.
And you adopted her as a teenager. And one really cool thing is that Jess has credited you for the woman that she has become today. So let's take a step back, kind of look at this story from your perspective as the foster turned adoptive mom. So let's go back to 2007, 2008.
That's a long time back. Okay.
So you were a single mom at that time.
I was.
Of 2 adult girls. So
Yes.
33 and 25.
Thank you. Yes.
Tell me.
Thank you. Thank you. I was going to have to look back at dates. I love you. Yes.
Tell me. And so what are your other girls' names again?
Haley is the oldest,
Okay.
and Heather is the youngest, or Jess is the youngest now.
Yeah.
But at the time before Jess came to live with us,
Okay.
Heather was the
Heather, Haley,
yes,
and now Jess.
and
Okay.
Jess.
So you already had 2 grown girls.
I had 2 grown girls
when you decided to be a foster parent.
as a single mom. 2
as a
grown
single
girls.
mom.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what moved you to become a foster parent.
I was married at the time, and the girls were grown and out of the house. And my husband and I decided that we maybe went to festival in the park, in downtown Charlotte, and we saw a booth about fostering, and we listened to what one of the caseworkers had to say, and decided we would go for just like to see what it was all about,
Wow.
to an open house. After that, we went through fostering classes
Mm-hmm.
and thought it would be awesome if we could get just like a little baby boy, and try again to, just have children running around the house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was an effective booth.
That was
festival
a
in the park.
very effective.
Look at
booth.
that.
This lady was a salesperson. Yeah,
She was.
but it wasn't hard to sell us.
Okay. So you were empty nest at that
Yes.
time. You're like, you've had a couple girls.
Yes.
Let's try a little boy, little pitter patter of little boy feet
Yes.
through your house. And that is not what happened. And so
that is not what happened.
you were prepared to take a foster placement and specified you don't want teens, you don't want girls.
Yes.
And then Jess arrived.
Yes, that's correct.
And this was supposed to be a weekend stay
Mhm.
at the time. So, and she was a teenager. So tell me a little bit about those first moments. What was it like when she showed up at your door? What details do you remember?
Well, I remember before Jess came to live with us, we divorced, and I had decided to relinquish my license and just not foster anymore.
Mhm.
And the heartache that came with it, some of the trials and tribulations. So I thought, I talked to my caseworker and said, I'm just not going to do this. And she said, one more time, can I just get you to take a teenage girl? She has nowhere to go, and the shelters are full, and the group homes are full. So it would be a temporary placement. Can you just foster a teenage girl? And I'm going, oh my God. Yes, I'll do that.
Another saleswoman.
Another salesperson. Your caseworkers are good at selling you. So I thought, this is temporary. I've got room in my house, so I'll do that. I'll take this other child on a temporary basis.
Mm-hmm. And she was 16-ish?
She was 16, yeah, almost
Okay.
17. Yes.
So when you opened your door,
Oh, heart.
tell me what you saw. What was that like? Because if you've ever fostered, that's a big moment. You don't know who's going to show up exactly.
You do not.
You might have some vague, details,
Yes.
an age, gender, that kind of thing. But what was it like when you saw Jess?
Well, having raised now two girls,
Mhm.
and two teenage girls, having them out of the house, I was expecting just someone that was going to have a lot of issues. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, okay, Lord, it's only temporary. It's only temporary. It's only
Mhm.
temporary. So I remember it was raining outside when the caseworker knocked on the door, and I had her my Jess. I had the room all fixed up for her, and I had a knock at the door, and had the fireplace on and some nice music going, and
That sounds
I
lovely.
opened.
It
Oh,
sounds like
I
an Airbnb.
know it is. Yeah, I wanted her to feel comfortable,
Uh-huh.
so I opened the door, and oh, it's gonna make me cry. I saw this little bitty thing, with big brown eyes and braces and the cutest smile, the cutest face. And but the fear in her eyes just, made me want to grab her and hug her.
Mm.
I couldn't do that,
Mhm.
just had to be standoffish to the
Mm.
point where not to overwhelm her. But I
Mhm.
remember her saying, can I come in? Can I live with you? And it was like,
Yeah.
"Baby, come on in."
Mhm.
Yes. And I remember showing her her room after the caseworker left us for the first time, and she just was in awe. And,
Mhm.
to see her room and her closet and her bathroom, it was just, and I thought this could work.
Mhm.
This could work temporarily. This
Mhm.
could
Again,
work.
in your head, it's
Uh,
temporary.
Get in my head, it's only
Yeah.
temporary.
Because you had fostered a few other younger kids before,
Two sibling placements.
uh-huh,
Yes, but they were
before
younger.
before the divorce. And then how
Yes.
much time did you have between hearing about Jess, your saleswoman, caseworker saying,
Caseworker.
"What about
I think that's a
the
requirement,
teen
job
girl?"
requirement.
How much time was there between her saying that, throwing out that idea, and Jess actually showing up?
I think it was about a year
Oh, wow.
because I was in the
Okay.
process of relinquishing my license, and,
Okay.
like, right on the verge of that, is when I got the call about Jess,
Okay.
and I said, "Okay,"
Mhm.
it's almost at the end,
Mhm.
so yes, I'll do this.
And you had, so when they told you about her,
Mhm.
and then when she showed up, like, you had time
Oh,
to
that was hours.
because you had time to, like, kind of quickly
Yeah,
fix her room
fix her
up and
room
stuff.
up, yeah.
So it would have just been you and
Yeah,
her
it was yeah, and
and
the
a couple
dogs,
dogs.
and a couple dogs, yeah. Jezzy and Miho are Aussies, yes.
So I know that your other daughters didn't live there anymore because they were grown, but what
They
was
didn't.
that relationship like between them? And was there any, like, tension or heightened emotions with that?
There was preconceived notions of, "Mama, you're
Mhm.
crazy. You don't need to be doing this,
Mhm.
and, why are you gonna put yourself through this again?"
Mhm.
And, yes, they thought I was crazy for, going this route and doing this again, and, I just said, "It's only temporary. Come and meet her."
Mhm.
And, once they came to meet Jess, and, you know, you God doesn't make mistakes. It's like me. I
Mhm.
thought, "I'm not gonna do this except for a weekend, this is temporary." My girls came and their, guard was up, like, "It's no, we shouldn't be doing this again." But everything fit. It's
Mm.
so unreal. We're very strong women, me and my daughters, and Jess just fit perfectly. One of my daughters is an introvert, the other is an extrovert. I'm a little bit of both.
Mhm.
Jess just fit with my introvert, my extrovert, and so much with me. So
Mhm.
it was just right.
And so how about, like, you've touched on that a little bit just now with their relationship with you, but I mean, you've raised a couple daughters at this point. You know what it's like to raise a daughter. But there's a reason people are a little scared to have teens in their home, whether they should or shouldn't be scared. There's
Yes.
this notion of, like, oh my gosh, you've had all these years. They've had this life before you. You haven't had the influence in their life. You just don't know exactly what they're coming from, because that's a lot of time
A lot of
without,
baggage.
yeah,
Yeah, a
without
lot of baggage.
having not been in their lives. And so did you find, like, I know you say she fit in your home, but I don't know how long that took. Like, was it kind of hard to bond at first, or was it very quick?
Well, remember it was temporary.
Right?
So
Yeah.
there, anyone that tells you, oh, it was all, roses and butterflies. No, you're
Mhm.
going to have a transition. And for us, it was more, Jess was used to taking care of herself. She was flipped from home to home. She was staying with some of her friends for a
Mhm.
period of time, and she had to take care of herself.
Mhm.
So she's coming into a home where there's structure, there's rules. This is permissible, this is
Mhm.
not. And that was difficult for her and difficult for me
Mhm.
because, we were both strong women. She was a strong child at the time, but she was pretty much a woman.
Mhm.
And once we crossed the bridge of this is hard, but you're not going anywhere, everything fell into place.
Yeah.
Once she saw that I was going to have her back and not abandon her like she's been abandoned in the past,
Mhm.
everything started falling into place. It's like a peeling an onion and a layer comes off, and all of a sudden things are just making sense and we're
Mhm.
working together. Does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
yeah. I mean, because I know when you have someone coming in and they're older and they are used to
Yes.
taking care of themselves, there is
Yes.
that sense of like, well, it's, every man for himself. I need to watch out for myself. But once
Yeah.
you realize the parent is being a parent and you
Yes.
can be a child, even though, she was a teenager at the
Yeah.
time, I feel like there's comfort there
I think
that someone's
children
taking
like
care of you.
structure,
Yeah.
Teenagers, they like structure. It's
Mhm.
like, this is your curfew. And I think that one of the biggest things that I'm remembering now is, kids come to us with the clothes on their back most of the
Mhm.
times. And that just didn't have that many things with her.
Mhm.
And she was like T90, but I wasn't, she could wear some of my stuff. And I remember, when she was going to school, I let her go in my closet and just pick out whatever she wanted to wear. She would say, "Ooh, Ma, I like that jacket," or "I like that scarf," or earrings. So
Mhm.
I would open up my closet and let her go and just pick out a few items. That's a yes. That's a no. You
Mhm.
can't. That's too expensive. You can't wear that. But,
No, wearing
it
that to
just,
school.
she was able to, just shop in my closet.
Mhm.
And that opened up a door for us to kind of communicate on a
Yeah.
different level.
Yeah.
And
And you say, teens like structure
yeah.
because if you have some boundaries, it shows you care about them.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't care where they are, well, then, it
Yeah.
may not feel quite as cared for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did that happen? It went from temporary to, oh, this is going to be a
That for
forever
after
thing.
that first weekend, I know that the caseworker called me the next week and said, "How is it going?" "Okay, well, let's maybe I can do it for the rest of the week." "Okay, how about another week?" And like, she
Yeah.
is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was enrolled in school. She was so smart.
Mhm.
She was academically gifted, and yeah, I don't know, it was right.
Mhm.
Everything was just right.
Mhm. So it's
So,
kind of up to you to
yeah,
say, well, I'll keep her instead of them having to find another
it was up to
place.
Jess,
Mhm.
but she knew my rules, she knew my guidelines, and it's like, "This is what I expect of you. You tell me what you expect of me, I'll tell you what I expect of you. And if you wanna stay here, and if you feel like you can obey these rules," which were not many,
Mhm.
"then yeah, you can stay."
Mhm.
And same for me, it's like, "What do I need to do to make you comfortable?" And she would say, these are my boundaries. These are my boundaries." So we were able to negotiate boundaries,
Mhm.
and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah.
So how long was it between the time she came to the time that you adopted her?
Well, I knew after a couple months that Jess wasn't going anywhere, that she was my forever home. And I
Mhm.
think the breakthrough came with not caseworkers, but therapists, as we were going through some therapy sessions together. And after the therapist left, it was like trauma. She opened up and she started sharing her trauma with me. And I opened up and I started sharing my trauma with her.
Mhm.
And it was like some of these childhood traumas that we had both experienced. I could understand her, she could understand me.
Mhm.
And I remember when Jess found out that she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And she just was so worried. And she said, Are you going to kick me out? And it was like, no. We've already made the decision. No one leaves around here. No, I'm not going to kick you out. So, I don't know time frame where that fit into things, but I think one thing that solidified it is like, her being pregnant and finding out, what would happen if she had the baby while she was in foster care.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, no, you're staying with me. We're going to adopt you. Everything's going to be fine. Your child is not going to have to go through the system.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I accept you.
And that was my next question, is about a huge part of her story is becoming a mom at 17.
Yes.
And now her daughter, Autumn,
Yes.
is, I believe, a teen now. Is she 13?
No. Oh, Lord, no. She's 12, 11. Wait. Ava's 10, turning 11. Autumn's 11. She'll be 12. So she's
Okay. Well,
yeah,
not very
she's
far.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
very far.
not
So
very
almost
far.
a teen.
Yeah, almost a teen.
So what was that like, seeing your now adoptive daughter become a mom?
I knew that Jess was going to be a good mom.
Mhm.
She didn't know that, but I did. And at first she didn't know if she wanted to be a mom. The more that she talked about it with Autumn's dad. And we worked through some things with DSS.
Mhm.
She decided that she wanted to have Autumn. She wanted to be a mom, and she was going to give Autumn the life that she had never had. And she was getting some good values, from watching me, from watching her sisters who were already moms at that point. So, she learned from us.
Yeah.
And she is far superior than most women. But I'm prejudiced. She's my daughter. I know I am.
Yeah.
But she is an amazing mother to Autumn.
How many grandchildren do you have now?
Lord, let's see. I have Autumn, Ava, Charlie, Dallas, and one on the way. Drew is on the way.
Wow,
So,
okay.
yeah.
And I heard
So
some little
that'll be
boy names in
5.
there, so you'll have some
Yeah.
little boy feet after.
Oh, yeah. Drew, he is Heather is pregnant, and it's so funny because she would send us pictures, and Jess and Haley would go, "Oh, I can't wait to smell him. I just want to smell him and hold him." So I think they've all got baby fever again.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm gonna have 5.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, 5.
Wow.
5 grandbabies. 2 boys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So today you're no longer fostering.
No longer
but
fostering.
You are a certified paralegal.
I'm a certified paralegal.
You've served as a guardian ad litem.
And foster, yes.
And and you're president of the Mecklenburg County Foster Parent Association.
I was president of the Mecklenburg County Foster Parent Association. That's right.
And that's where, just to inform people listening, is where you served as a liaison between the foster parents and the youth and family services. So this podcast series we're doing is all about perspective. How has your experience as a foster parent influenced other areas of your life, whether that's your professional life or your personal life?
I think it has helped me to think outside of the box a lot more from being a foster parent and from mentoring other foster parents that are out there. We started a clothing closet for foster moms and dads to come in, and every time we would have it, you try to get kids or the foster parents in for meetings. So every month we would have meetings, and they were able to shop for their kids. And it helped me think outside of the box with working with biological parents, with telling other new foster parents how to work with biological parents. And Jess and I did a couple of sessions with DSS where they were recruiting foster parents, and we would go and talk about, our experience, our good experience, and how people should think about taking teenagers because they're very underserved. They can't find foster families for teenagers. I don't know if it's still like that. You can tell me.
I think,
still
from what
like
I
that.
gather, it's still, they are still harder to place typically.
And it taught me how to get out of my way because I was in my way a lot. I'm very, very outspoken,
Mhm.
and it did not serve me well sometimes. But I learned how to take a back seat,
Mhm.
listen to what someone had to say, especially biological parents, to try to understand their perspective, and then help other foster parents that were new coming in how to navigate the system
Yeah.
of caseworkers
Mhm.
and biological parents.
And how about, I guess that factors into both your personal and professional life. Any
Yes.
other way that it has impacted you personally, just as Susie?
Well, I would say that having Jess impacted me personally as Susie, because when she said that she was going to find a husband on Love is Blind, I said, "What are you thinking?" And and then I'm seeing all of these, her now. She went from, I think, 2,000 Instagram followers to what is she up to now? Like
I would have
2
to look.
million, 3 million, something like that.
Yeah.
And that, and having not answering some of the negative comments that people
Mhm.
say about her, because people will make comments about
Mhm.
who she is, or her personally, or how she is
Mhm.
as a mother, or she didn't really grow up in foster care, or something like that, or
Mm.
and it's just, that's been difficult.
Mm.
It's been hard to bite my tongue, but it's helped me. It's helped me stay humble and just to have grace.
Mhm.
Grace.
Okay.
That's what it's done for me. It's helped me have grace with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched all the episodes?
Yes. Yes, I have. Even the
I
ones she
haven't.
would
I am
say,
gonna confess, I have not. I have not seen. I don't watch a lot. I don't have time to watch a lot of TV these days. But I just wondered if you had seen it all.
I have, and I was extremely proud of Jessica.
Mhm.
She handled herself with class, with grace. She put herself out there. She didn't find her forever person
Mhm.
on Love is Blind, but he's still out there.
Mhm.
Maybe she already has. I don't know. Not spilling any tea. I just have hope.
Yep. Yep.
I want another grandbaby.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So a lot of times there is this anxiety about how fostering might impact your other kids. Now
Yes.
you had 2 daughters, like I said, they were grown, so it was a little different because they weren't in the home.
Yeah.
But sometimes there is this, like, I don't know what that's going to do to my other kids, or even
Mhm.
just taking in a teen.
Mhm.
As we've talked about,
Yeah.
people aren't sure what that will be like. So I know everyone's experience is different. My experience as a foster parent is going to be different than your experience as a foster parent. But what would you tell someone who is thinking about becoming a foster parent?
I would tell someone to lower their expectations. I would tell someone to really, really try hard to build a bond with a biological parent, as hard as it may be. And I know how hard it is, but to try to build that bond, try to build a bond with a caseworker, I would say go for it. Just do it. Throw your hat in there, You may have a bad experience, but you may have the blessing of your life. I did.
Yeah.
I did. I thought I would never foster again. And then came Jess, and she was my forever child. She still is. So is Autumn. And we celebrate holidays, birthdays. We still cry together. We still laugh together. And we're just a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say do it.
Yeah.
If you go for it.
110%. Put it all in there.
110%.
If you're going to do it,
go all in.
go
all in. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being on here. Just,
Thank
your
you.
experience, not just as a foster parent, but also an adoptive parent, and just your role, your professional role.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of experience there. So,
Mhm.
and as you were saying earlier, your cup is running over now.
With
It's
grandchildren.
been, it's been a hard road at times. You've been through a
It
lot, but
has.
now you can
I'm at
face
peace.
the day.
Yeah.
And you're
I'm
just
at peace.
yeah.
God is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, many blessings in your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Susie. We
You're
appreciate you
welcome.
being here.
Thank you.
Podcast bridging the gap with Mr. B.